gonna end up sounding stupid unless you tell me this is what you want. Then we can go, then we can go. Cause I like the way we're swaying in the moonlight, and we're kissing like we're trying to say goodbye. I don't know if it's the drinks, but I need you to be mine.
Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'm not on my own anymore. I've got my man up north with me, Mr. Pabs. Welcome, mate. How you doing? You all good?
Mate, I am doing sound. It's the first one of the day for me, but you've been a busy beaver on the 3 casts already. But I'm, you know what I'm like? I'm like, yeah, there's a bank holiday. I've got shit to do. We've got things we need to catch up on. And I'm like, when you dropped me the 3, I was like, damn, you got the passion. But yeah, it's nice to be back. I'm back on board, even if it is just for the 1 cast.
Yeah, so we've got something slightly different this evening. Obviously, Div 4 for this one for ACCL. So slight difference in ability potentially. You never really know. Some of these teams that have been plonked in lower divisions, suddenly they come flying out of nowhere, don't they? So
yeah,
I assume we'll still see the fundamentals of the game there, and it's one where me personally, I know one team very well, the other team not so well, and I know the boys of Ollie, Stowe, Bookie, and Sam really, really well. So I'll be interested to see how they get on this one because I've yet to cast them on this game out. So see if they can come away with the dub, because I'm sure if they don't, I'm just bantering them still.
I'm so looking forward to this now as well. This is going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, it looks as though they'll straight in on this one. I'm just quickly not letting me type. No.
Let's go.
I love this.
Technical difficulties.
1 sec. Yeah, I just had to DM one of them and say, tell them I'm ready because I can't type in chat. Brilliant. Right, but anyways, yeah, map number 1, we're getting underway on a Tuscan, Pabs. So a bit of a medium map for us. We've got 2 Bockages though in this one, so if it does go, I've had 2 Bockage hard points already this evening. Solo casting, that is not easy. I'll tell you that. I almost ran out of words in the second one. Blimey, it was a absolute cluster.
Once you get into Barn, it's just insanity. To solo cast Barn is just on its own as a heal is insane.
Even P1 as well. Like, it is just all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. But yeah, so we're starting with a medium one on Tuscan here. But yeah, we're approaching, obviously, approaching the new year. We're in the new year, but we're still waiting for confirmation of a 3rd game mode, which is a little bit worrying.
It's definitely worrying. I don't think it's going to happen though, mate. I think we're going to see 3 S&Ds come the cups.
We're going to
honestly
end up with an amount of hard point. They'll just go, screw it. We'll just play 5 hard points, boys. Just go for it. Balls to the wall.
No, the hell. 5 Bockages. Imagine a map set like that. Oof. Oof.
Right, guys. So we are now.
Though.
Oh yeah, could you imagine? Like, if you'd end up with 50 bombs like in every map if it was, some of the top teams. But anyways, guys, we're now underway here for this Division 4 matchup between Part-Timers and Hollow White. And Part-Timers going to be on the less preferred side. We've discussed it a few times before, Pablo. Obviously, this is one where a lot of teams get some really good hill time from the position that Hollow White are coming from, and so that is pretty much how they're going with it at the moment, sticking to the textbook plays and getting some early time.
Yeah, I think it was Brandon had a really nice position and had reasonable control and just pushed up a little bit too aggressive maybe, and he's been taken down. That's just given the part-timers a little opportunity to get some time on the remaining part of this hill, and they're probably going to tie it up. It's going to be fairly close anyway, but we can see already it going over this crazy hill we love so much. But I expect to come the end of the game, we'll be back here very shortly.
Snappy out the back.
Snappy.
Sam is located up here. Oh no, Sam, please don't. Okay, I forgot that. I was going to violate him if he lost that one, because that was a close one. Obviously, these boys that I know very, very well, but they've done an all right job in the early stages of this hill. They're going to have to look to the back though. Bookie is going to be watching out the back, and he's not going to be able to pick off anyone there, as Ollie is now going to be the lone man, and he's a very talented Scotsman, is Mr. Ollie. Also very feisty, but yeah, a hell of a player. He started off really strong off on this one, already 5-1, and Part-Timers with some good time in the early stages of this hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Snappy's going to need to be more by nature and less by name, because he just got absolutely ploughed in the first part of that. Dap him again. Just looks like he needs to potentially get a little bit more involved. 12 seconds and only 1 kill. So definitely the Hollow White boys just seem to be on the back foot a little bit. But we know what this map's like. It is back and forth. Now, Part-Timers, if they can do what most teams struggle to do and get any real time out of this, then I think it's going to be a map favourable to them, because we know this P3 is just wild.
The stiffest of ARs. If people think I'm stiff, Sam is next level. So he's currently stuck out the back, just keeping his head down, letting his teammate try and do the work around him. It looks as though Schnappy is going to try and work his way through archers, and then the nade there manages to take down Bookie, but Sam in position to try and stop any sort of rotational play in towards the hill. But nice work there by Dapham, able to take down one, but the trade's going back and forth, at least in the early stages. Bookie is going to be the last man standing. They're still spawning over by tiles as Bookie manages to grab another kill. Good work here from Bookie. And Bookie! Wow, that's going on Twitter later. I know what he's like, but a really good bit of play from him, and part-timers looking to try and get that remaining scrap time.
Man, that three-piece gave them 10 seconds that they did not deserve, and that was an awesome play by Bookie there. And that's put them about, 20 or so seconds in front, which is no mean feat in the first set of rotations. So hats off to the part-timers, showing some full-time spirit there. But yeah, wild plays so far, but it does look like Hollow White are just starting to drop some bodies, so maybe things should even up fairly soon. But right now, mate, this has been really exciting, actually, really good for Div 4, man. It's superb.
Well, this is the thing with ACCL. Obviously, we've got kind of the hierarchy of teams, but you've still got a lot of ability as you go down the leagues. I mean, the likes of RAF and that, I believe, they're in Division 3, and we know how good they are as a team. Obviously, they actually came off the back of a 3-0, so it's kind of one where we've got so many teams that are very, very talented. So people might come into a game and be like, oh, it's Div 4, and expect to see absolutely nothing. But we've seen some already good plays out of the boys at part-timers. They've now got a 40-point lead, and Ollie is going to cut down a couple more players. The trade's though going back for Hollow White. They look to try and work in towards the hill, but it looks as though the boys at part-timers are pretty much there to lock up what could be the remaining time.
Yeah, Ollie's playing absolutely disgusting right now. He's beaming everyone. I don't think anyone can stand a chance against him. But he's I haven't been talking all night, and you have, never mind. But he's he's just about to hit that 2KD. I think he's just come off it. But right now, I think the boys in Hollow White really do need to start dropping some bodies, because they did look like they were on the way for the second, but again they've just fell off. And you've got to consider that Bolty is only on a 4 and 5 with 19 seconds, and his team are still feasibly dominant. So if he's able to get a bit more into the game, I mean, the boys from the part-timers could 100% run away with this. Imagine going into a Div 3 game against the RAF, thinking they're not going to be that good, and then coming across them in S&D and having to play them in S&D. God damn, someone's going to get a surprise.
so last man up in the hill. He's still got Schnappy and Mally near him. Whether or not they can try and nade him out, there's still no trophies in this one, but Ollie just opts to go for the ego, flies around the corner. Sam's going to manage to drop the last man, so good work from part-timers. Still leading by just under 40 points as we go back over towards the P1, but it looks as though Hollow White, for the early parts, at least have the number advantage, as he will manage to take down Sam as well. So Ali on the initial. The case now whether or not they can try and hold strong here, perhaps, because they are trailing by a little bit of a chunk, but now this is a good opportunity for them to try and claw the game back.
Yeah, absolutely. They just controlled middle really nicely, although Ollie did get the kill. They were able to just trade them back out, and that's just forced the boys from the part-timers to bring out some ordnance just to try and get control of this P1 again, which I think they've done with relatively easy, although Schnappy is absolutely firing. Now looks like he's woken up. But 102 to 137, mate, this game is still reasonably tense, and the kill feed is rather alarmingly purple if you're a part-timer yourself.
I wish I was a part-timer. I could put my feet up more often. That'd be quite nice, but
well, you wouldn't have to cast 2 games on your own if you weren't already a full-timer. And I'm the part-timer.
So the boys are part-timers. That has been a difficult hill. Ollie looking to try and push out his kills even more. 23 and 13 at the moment, putting the boys in the backpack temporarily. But Sam back now. He's got a big gunfight up against Mally here. Just needs to try and check his corner. Is he going to check it? Ali, I'm not sure he's spotted him yet. He has surely now. Sam spotted him though as well, and Sam able to grab the kill. And it was a close one between those two. He's still got a couple more players around him, but these are important ones in the back. Another kill coming through from Sam, and he's not going to quite be able to grab any more, but it's at least enabled the boys of part-timers to get on the hill and try and force the boys of Hollow White out, as Bookie with another couple of kills does a good job.
Yeah, I mean, he played that really nicely. He doesn't need to get all 3 kills. He gets the 2 important ones, and that allows his team to just respawn close and get control of hill again, and they know exactly where the other team are coming from. So this should be a killing field, and we can see Stoves on a 5. So another glide in his back pocket in case things do push around to that P3, that nice open hill. They're going to be able to either force them into that small hut, or they're going to be able to just bomb them straight off the hill. So right now, mate, I would say the part-timers are looking strong and good for the money, and potentially seem to have put a bit more time into the game than Hollow White, who are presently feeling very hollow indeed. Swiss cheese almost.
So the boys are part-timers out the back. They have pretty much everyone in position now. Sam going to accumulate that same position that he took last time. Mally, so he's just waiting for his team to come close as they try and potentially nade out the man on the hill. He doesn't have a nade or done in his pocket, Mally, so it's going to be difficult. But the pre-fire just straight through the well. The fountain manages to take down one. That's a very, very terrible well because you won't be able to store much water in it. But Multi still out the back. The boys of Hollow White, they're going to need a pretty swift break here, Pabs, because with part-timers 50 points to the good over that 200-point mark, this is where kind of we see these games start to get a bit messy and a bit scrappy. And especially as you start to trickle down the divisions, you do tend to see almost a panic of players start to flow towards the hill, and it looks as though that's what Hollow White did do for a stage, but it looks as though they've just chalked it and rotated.
Yeah, and what you've said there is entirely right. As you go lower down the divisions, obviously discipline goes out the window to a certain extent, and that's usually kind of the early difference between the teams across the divisions. But yeah, I mean, I think it's too early in the rotations for them to be able to do anything either, with there being two full rotations or two full rotations to go before they hit that P1 again. I think it's problematic if you're a Hollow White fan. I think the guys from the part-timers have got enough in the tank, and what you said before was entirely correct. They only need to get a handful of seconds off each hill.
So Stove on the hill, 4-man wipe there for the boys of part-timers. I was going to say they were doing a good job, Hollow White, of actually cleaning out quite a few players as Stove just opts to get off the hill for the time being. Just watching the high ground while Brandon tries to work his way down the left lane, but it looks as though everyone is pretty much locked in. Stove going to try and make a pinch up top, manages to take down Mally. He's got a big 1v1 up against Schnappy, and Schnappy able to snap onto him on that one as he manages to grab that kill, and an important one now with part-timers only 10 seconds away, and this is where it becomes really difficult now. They've got to try and rotate, they've got to get over towards the new hill, but then they also need pretty much every single second of scrap time now.
Yeah, and they need to get traded out, and they've done that. One thing the part-timers have done quite well is get their trades. This is going to be a big moment again for Stove. He does need to try and get some control of these bottom stairs, and he doesn't do that. It was unlucky, though, he did nearly get the shot on him, so it's a big moment right now as the break needs to come in, but Brandon does look like he's one player who is firing on all cylinders right now. Brandon with a tidy three-piece right there. And this is becoming a bit of a game again. If part-timers can't make a break in here, this could be reasonably close.
Yeah, and this is what we've spoken about before. Kind of the approach to push in through top is not an easy one. Stove, though, with a big couple of kills. Take down 2. Now it looks as though it's going to be a little bit of a contesting time here. Small streaks are going to come through. I believe it's Brandon calling in the missile, and it will manage to land in that back door. Not going to pick anyone up, though, but with part-timers only 5 seconds away, they've got the kills around the hill. Brandon needs to try and work his way in. He's not going to manage to. Mally from underneath, I don't think he's even going to touch the hill in time. And, oh, no, the contest is in. Never mind, I don't think he's going to be able to. And part-timers going to take map number 1, 250, 205. But a pretty close map, Pablo.
Yeah, I mean, they look comfortable throughout most of it. There was a small section where the game got tied up, but then after that, I don't think it was ever in doubt. Once they had that glide bomb in the back pocket as well, and we can see this from Bucky, this awesome three-piece that probably got them 15 seconds on that, so great play, but mate, Ollie there, 34 and 21, just having an absolutely awesome game. But I think the TK in that final kill really didn't help Hollow White's comeback at all, but yeah, pretty comfortable in the end for the part-timers, and they're looking good for the money so far.
Yeah, from experience, I can actually talk. It's very nice having Ollie on your team because you don't have to kill many things because he does it all for you a lot of the time. But yeah, really good performance there from him, and part-timers now 1-0 up in the best of 5. But map number 2, Pabs, as we look into it, on towards Berlin Search. I'm actually quite interested to see how teams in the lower divisions approach this, because it's one where we've seen quite a variety of strats, but they still seem to be pretty B-bomb focused. But as you go towards the different divisions, you might see plays that you think, hang on a minute, it's something different. We're not used to seeing it, and it might be something that some teams might be able to pick up because it works.
Well, I think one of the things you do notice in as you go down the divisions is that complacency, like the lack of kind of respect for your own life. So you're more willing. I think these players are more willing to just go on a really odd route or a very direct route. Or there's no kind of like reservations about just jumping for another bomb site that no one would think of. And it'll be interesting to see how they like retake as well on the defense. So especially when it goes 3-4, like you can really tell how good the team is, and at the very highest level they kind of approach in a 3-4 situation. They're usually quite telling. So there's so many indicators though, Major, you could go through in terms of what the differences are between a great team and an average team. But yeah, these do kind of highlight good and bad strats though when you get this disparity in skill levels.
Yeah, so part-timers 1-0 up now in the best of 5. If you did miss the map number 1, guys, it was 250 to 205 on the Tuscan hardpoint, and we're just readying up to everything on the same right side, sorry. We still haven't had a podcast thing sorted, but don't get me started on that, because otherwise I'll be here all evening moaning. But yeah, map number 2, and I don't know. It's one of those now. After that one, part-timers that you mentioned, they did look fairly comfortable for stages of it. So now, I know we talk about it all the time. This is one where if you're going to drop map number 1, you really kind of want to take a map number 2 if you're Hollow White at this stage, because then you're going back into another respawn, which we know part-timers, or at least I know especially, they've got a lot of talented players in that roster, especially in terms of slaying. So they're going to be looking to this search probably to try and tie this one up.
I mean, if you're Hollow White, you just going to look at the stats from Tuscan and think, I don't want to play Ollie again in a hard point at any given point. So it's a worry for them regardless. But yeah, Berlin, they really need to consider taking the S&D. But again, you know, when you've got a player that's that capable of dropping big numbers, they usually transition reasonably well. It depends how much caution there is. If we just see this ward of attrition over towards the A-bomb site, I think then it just becomes TDM, and I think that's going to play into Ollie and Stove's hands. On the other hand, if they keep it nice and cautious and keep the distance and keep things moving at a reasonably slow pace, they might just be able to you know, win this with strategy.
Yeah, so guys, we are now loading into our map number 2. Fingers crossed for no scan. I'll probably jinx it now because I haven't had it in a while, so hoping we don't get it.
Why did you bring that up?
I don't know. It was the first thought that entered my brain. I just got nervous and said it. So hopefully it looks as though we're in and we're good to go. But map number 2 underway on the Berlin search, and we see how these boys try and play this, because yeah, it definitely seems a very B-heavy map, Pabs. Whenever we've casted this one.
Yeah, I mean, I got it's a weird one. I'm gonna do. I think you find there's a lot of teams will push A first just to feel each other out, and then once they've realised the kind of capabilities, you'll then find that there's a war goes down at B. But right now, it does look like there's been a kind of like pretend split almost. And looks like they tried to do it, and Dapham goes big. Has Dapham got bomb? No, that's the thing. Has anyone got bomb?
Yeah, no, I think it was Bookie ran in and he's dropped it right in probably the worst spot you could imagine. Oh, but beams there.
Oh,
saucy Scotsman across the map rips Mali's head clean off on that one. So now 2 versus 3. The stiffest AR in the world, Sam Bolte, ladies and gentlemen, is he's going to hate me for that. He really will. He's still looking for one potential man over towards the bomb site, but his teammate in Ollie is going to fall. So now Sam left in the 1 versus 3, and those purple arrows slowly starting to work their way over towards him. Still got a lot of work to do here. I get a free pick onto Brandon. Oh no, Brandon spied him, never mind. And a good round there from Hollow White, right off the rip. Only dropping 1 man, I believe.
Yeah, I think the Dapham going big inside the bomb site really helped the cause. They dropped 2 immediately. It causes the rest of the team to have a long rethink about what they can do, and I think they just got kind of caught in the headlights over towards that back warehouse area, and that's why they've lost. But Hollow White do well, man. As we said, we've seen this kind of flip before, where a team gets dominated in hard points, and then from nowhere, like they're just an awesome S&D side. So yeah, Dapham with the 2-0 though, mate, it's looking good.
Big shout out to JMLC with the raid. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. If you guys just jumping on board with us, guys, we've got a Div 4 ACCL game in this one, and part-timers 1-0 up in this best of 5. They took map number 1, 250 to 205, and Hollow White taking the opening round of the search, and Bookie going to spot both of them. He's going to manage to grab both kills there. 2-piece for him, and a biscuit to go with it as he manages to take down both Dappen and Brandon. And look at the flank from Stove. It's the big play. He might be able to get a free pick onto Mali here if he spots him. Oh, wow. That's... oh, no. He's going to hate this COD timing. Oh, Mali. Hello. Stove. Never mind. I don't think I've seen him. So Mali gets a free pick there, but look at all the players over the bomb side. They're actually going for the diffuser. So if Mali's quick and he just sprays the crap out of the bomb, he might be able to get it. And he's got a double nade. Oh, my God. It's now Lost Man Sam. He's going to fall. And oh, my goodness. What a round there from Hollow White.
Oh my days! I can't believe he absolutely Kobe'd them. Oh my, 2-2. I mean, I thought Snappy was gonna get Mali was gonna get the 2-piece with the gun. He must be fuming. There you go. That's my life. My life on Call of Duty is Mali's life right there. What a wild play! But again, just from nowhere, this team just look very, very capable at S&D.
Yeah, Snappy now 3-0. Really good start from him. Meanwhile, on the flip side, the boys are part-timers, only combining for 3 kills at the moment. So Snappy matching boys in red on his own. We'll see how this round is going to unfold. Looks as though Bookie is going to be taking the bomb over towards that A site. Sam, a few shots coming through. So now they're going to fly through. Bookie first man through the door. pulling the short straw on that occasion, but you can see Ollie now going to reinforce him, manages to grab one, so now Snappy out the back really needs to try and get away. He can't manage to get away quickly, and it looks as though it's been a pretty good start to the round here, but they do have to be careful of Dapham on the flank.
Yeah, Dapham just making his way around. It does look like Bolty's got some kind of idea that someone's going to be coming through, and this is going to come down to time and more than anything else. I think Bolty might have enough. Oh, that's windy. Oof. And Bolty gets dropped. As that was reminded me of me, which is bizarre. But Dapham with the the big brain play, and now he's put it back to a 1v3 Mally with it all to do, and I think this is going to be a game over. Ooh,
Mally breaking a few legs, but Bookie going to be there, trade that kill out. So part-timers notch their first round on the board. A 2-round lead now, just down to 1. See here, Bookie, that final kill in the kill cam, and I suppose the advantage, Pabs, of having a map where a team pushes a particular time, pretty much a particular site all the time, or in the teams in general that we tend to see, is when you do mix it up and go to the other bomb site, you can surprise quite a few teams, which just looks as though that's exactly what part-timers managed to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and they needed to mix it up as well, and it was really bad. I felt kind of bad for Bolty as well. Big opportunity for him to get off the mark, and I think the timing just let him down. And obviously, if he's rocking an AR, then it just makes it super difficult to get those close quarter shots in. But right now, Hollow White's still looking really good, but it is only a 2-1 lead, and you feel if Bolty maybe can get a kill or get a first blood, and unfortunately, it's not going to be this round. They might be able to just bring this back, but it is only 2-1, so plenty of time yet, Major.
Yeah, and it looks as though they're going to need help over towards that A-bomb site, because Hollow White have just mimicked exactly what part-timers did. So now it is going to be Bookie and Ollie, the last two up. Going to really rely on the first pick here to try and open up this round. Ollie working his way up as he get this close right corner. Dapham tucks away. Nice shots from Ollie. Manages to at least take down one, and now Bookie, can he get some good timing here to come up from underneath? He's going to get tagged up and shot. And is it going to be an occasion where he can just manage to get his way out? Because Dapham's a free pick for him. He manages to take down one. So now it's a 2 versus 2. Ollie just sensing that there might potentially be someone on the flank. He's got to be quick, actually, with the old jumps there. Just got short leg on that occasion. And Bookie, now 1 versus 2, will fall. So another good round from Hollow White, and they're looking pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. They look like a reasonable S&D side. So, one of the things you would suggest by the name is if you're not as much of a practice team, then S&D is going to be problematic for you, especially if teams play kind of like to the basic strengths of just controlling the site, making sure they've got players who can get information. So right now, I mean, Hollow White are playing this about as well as you could expect. Everyone's either balanced or positive. And they have got the bomb down as well. So right now, it's looking really good for the boys in purple. But again, you've got a team who can perform to the kind of caliber they did in the hard point. So part-timers, again, I would suggest with only a 2-round deficit, still got plenty of time. It looks like they're going to mix it up one more time.
Yeah, so, nice shots from Dapham, able to take down one. The trade, though, from Strodom from Strafe. I can't even speak now. I had a burp that I tried to uncover, and it just kind of went terribly wrong. So, now 3 versus 3. Snappy is working round the back, and Sam is going to be watching that long flank as Brandon manages to get a kill. So now Bookie's in a difficult position where he's kind of trapped inside. This next kill from Sam, though, is going to be an important one. If he checks this left-hand side, and bad timing again for Sam here. There's a free pick. Surely. Oh, Sam!
No.
Sam!
No!
Oh, the struggles continue. 1 versus 3 now for Bookie. He's at least got the time on his hand, but he's got a lot of work to do. He's going to forward, and Hollow White going to grab another round.
Oh man, I literally just can't look now when Bolty's on the screen. It's so I feel so bad for him. That was such an easy pick for him, and I think he's just panicked and being surprised again with the AR at close range. I think has just let him down. But 4-1 is a different proposition, and it's starting to run away from the boys in red. So you've got to hope now that they've got it. Maybe this is where good teams tend to have a plan B, and right now it's not looking so good for the boys from the part-timers.
Hollow White now 4-1 up, and Mr. JMLC redeeming the suit. Big shout out, thank you very much, mate. So Hollow White now 3 rounds to the good. See now what the boys will decide to do on this occasion. Looks as though it is going to be another B push hit from the team Hollow. Bookie lurking outside, but this first blood, Pablo, it feels like the boys of Hollow White have just been really, really composed. Even when part-timers have got the first blood, Hollow White just play it patiently. They play for picks pretty well, and it's definitely helped them at the moment. As you can see, kind of every single person on their team is kind of pulling their weight for kills.
Yeah, and they're just a little bit more cautious and a little bit more. I think they're a bit more practiced than the boys. And Bolty gets the first blood, so he's off the mark, and that's so important as well. It's probably the most important kill, but they need to follow that up with kills. And Dapham and Snappy are just going to say no to that. But Ollie tries to fire back and plays his life really well, and that's one thing they haven't done so far. And the chase is going to be on.
Yeah,
Oof.
and Dapham manages to sniff out Ollie. So now 1 versus 1, and he's just going to rotate this bomb over towards a 1 versus 1 against Sam, who has now managed to grab 2 kills this round. So much better performance from him. We'll see if he can manage to work one out. Bomb is down. 40 seconds on the clock. He's going to have to try and be quick here. Can't opt himself too much time. And this is always the difficulty, isn't it, Pabs? 1 versus 1. You got to try and find the player, and you got to do it inside 40 seconds. Because when it starts to get to the 10, 12 seconds mark, whoever's left can pretty much just play the timer.
Oh, they can just jockey around. They can play. If they've got the information about where you are, then it's pretty much game over. That should give him a bit of hope. He knows where that player is, but it does look like the other player's seen him. So he's
Oh,
got a big kill.
Sam!
Yes, let's made first blood, the last kill, and a defuse. I mean, if you're going to make up for it in a game, you may as well get the hat trick right there.
Samuel Bolty, that's worthy. That's worthy of a C from Mr. Sam. Love to see that. So he's now off and running. 3 kills in that round, and part-timers with a much needed round. 4-2 now to the boys of Hollow. That deficit now reduced down to 2, and whether or not they decide to try and switch it up once again, go into round number 7. But much needed there for Sam. There in that case, Pabs, he's off the board. He's off and running, and kind of the
He's on a streak.
he's on a 3, mate. You could get a glide bomb. Come on, Sammy boy, see what you got.
He's going to go super aggressive now and totally ruin it. But no, that's so important though. I'm so good that he got off the mark. He didn't just do that. He gets that final kill, and it's big stove as well with the first one. This has been vital for them so far. So you would sincerely hope they're able to follow this up with another kill, and this is a great moment for them. But timing's going to be everything. He is taking his time. So pretty easy kill. Oh, he dips as well. What good play.
He just manages to get the angle. Ollie looking to mop up another one as well. So now last man is going to be Dapham. Might get some timing here. Manages to look through the right window at the right time. This is the thing with Berlin. There's so many options. Spot people. And he is going to go through. Takes down Sam. So he's now off his streaks. 1 versus 2 now for Dapham. Now, Bookie. Oh, I think he managed to spot him there on the outside lane. The shots definitely give away his position now. So the boys of part-timers locked into position on this occasion. 25 seconds left to work with. It looks as though he will get shot on the side, and another round on the board for part-timers.
Yeah, and you notice they're playing it completely different. There's a little bit of caution. They're getting the first blood, but once they get first blood, they're trying to get down and get themselves into positions. And clearly, they've practiced a bit of Berlin, both prone in the ideal position, and they're able to take that player down. Really unfortunate for Sam that he wasn't able to continue his streak.
Now, part-timers, 1 round behind. Really good performance from those boys. Most recent rounds, and we'll see if they can manage to keep that momentum going now. So Hollow White back on the attack. They're going to stick to what has worked. It looks as though they will. Dapham in charge of bomb. Going to run it over towards the B site. Bookie is going to be the lone man here. So he's got a lot of work to do. And this is the thing we've spoken about, Pabs. If this works, it works really well. But if someone checks the corner, you are screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they've got to have seen this. They've done it themselves a few times, but no corner check, and he's going to get dropped. Is he just going to fall in afterwards? Oh my God, not even trying to get the trade. So it's a freak 2 kills for Bookie there. Just absolutely with ease, he gets those kills. And you're right, you know, if they don't check it, it pays off. I'm potentially about to see this game get tied up, and he's on a 9-5 with a 4 streak, more importantly. So 1 more kill. And you know, this could be a change entirely in the series.
Yeah, and Bookie's got bombed down as well over towards B, so they don't have to try and force the play. And Bookie does get some shots across the map and some information as well. And that's probably the most important out of the 2. Ollie going to reposition around the back. Feel that nobody can come on the flank, and I think that's going to be a free pick on Snappy. So there's 1 for Ollie. Bookie still on his streak at the moment. Ali, last man up for the side of Hollow White. They know where he is. Bookie's going to just reposition to try and help Ollie out here. And he might manage to catch out. Oh, never mind. He's actually slip through here, man. He's got to be careful. That's Bookie. And oh, no, he's going to fall. He's going to get shot in the back. He manages to slip through, and he's actually going to get the bomb plant down as well. So Mally makes it a 1 versus 1. And the odds are now in his favour as Ollie. Oh, did he spot him out the back?
No.
Or whether he did.
That's quite noisy.
Past him, Mally. Oh, man. Talk about cat and mouse. It's a case of Ollie hasn't seen him. Mally hasn't seen him, but it looks as though it might be inevitable.
What? He must have seen him. What? No, he's definitely seen him. He's definitely seen him.
Only got 20 seconds left now, Ollie. He needs to try and stick the bomb or force something out here because he's running out of time, and this is now inevitable when Mali checks the bomb. And this is kind of the time period we spoke about, Pabs, where it gets to that 12-second
I
time.
think he's
There's
seen.
not really much you can do about it.
No, I think it just became a kind of cat and mouse. He's got the kill. I think he's just going to give the round up and potentially, unfortunately, it's 2 glide bomb opportunities that they've missed. And that's a tricky one. I mean, we see this time and time again at the very highest level where the player, if he's got an opportunity to jump and defuse, he'll just take it because
Yeah.
the cat and mouse element is sort of irrelevant. Like, you're either going to get the kill and lose or die and lose, so you may as well defuse. It just makes sense. So yeah, probably the better strategy there would have been just to jump on the bomb. But we've got the advantage of seeing all the information. But again, 7-5, they've made a real game of this. So I wouldn't write them off just yet. They still could probably take these rounds. But I think if Hollow White just revert back to the way they were playing, in the first 3 rounds, then they're potentially going to seal the deal in the next round.
Yeah. So now Dapham, he's going to be taking the position of Bookie in this round because he's now the only man. Stun goes through, he does get the info, and the nade will go down. So nade's going to come through. I assume the boys will manage to get out. And just, oh no, never mind, Bookie. He's going to get caught out, so the nade's going to catch him. And now going to be Stove in there on his own. Whether or not they know he's in there, I don't think they do, because he's going to take down one. So now an important moment for part-timers just to keep trying to lock down control. It looks as though Ollie's going to take the position, just watching the full flank. But it really relies on Stove, I suppose, as he actually manages to grab another big kill there. 1 HP. Jesus, you don't see that often.
I mean, a big kill as well. I mean, it doesn't get more importance. That player was still got to, if he gets dropped as well, it becomes a problem. And now that there is going to be that 1v1 with Stove with it all to do against Mali. So big moment right now in the game for the boys in red.
And Stove plays it really smart.
Oh, yes.
Really good play there from part-timers. And
yeah.
Obviously, they can't drop any more rounds, but it looks as though it's taken them a while to get going. But now they've actually got a bit of momentum going, and they seem to kind of know what plays work for them. They've done a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. I think that one round they lost kind of at the point where it was 4-2. I think was a bit of an outlier round in the middle of the series, and I think they could have potentially won that one. But again, this could go the distance, and I sincerely hope it does. But Bolty, again, I think if he can get back involved in the game and not get dropped so readily, then it could be a round 11 for us. But again, it's just so difficult to call them first blood straight to Snap. You were absolutely beams across the map, and that is not good for the part-timers.
Yeah, he is just ripped Stove across the map there. That was from the warehouse, so he is shooting absolute lasers, and it looks as though it's going to be an A push hit from Hollow White. They get the first pick, and they're going to try and bank on having their numbers over towards A. It looks as though it's pretty much going to work faultlessly for them here. Brandon really going to be trying to get that bomb down soon. Ollie has a bit of an inkling that there's going to be some players over here, and he just about manages to get away with his life. But you can see kind of the map control that Hollow White have of the site. It's going to be really difficult for the boys and part-timers to make a break. They really need that first pick.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously the time is not on their side now, so really good control from Hollow White, and this is going to come down to some gunfights, and he's quite pressed up quite high here. He's played his life, which he should definitely not have played his life. Information surely must be going down to those players, and it's going to be left with Bolty to do all the work, and it looks like he's dipped with only 20 seconds, Major. This is looking tricky.
Yep, and that was a very solid search and destroy performance there from Hollow White. They are going to take it 6-4, and we've got a series now, Pablo. Strong hard point for map number 1 for part-timers, and likewise on the search for Hollow, so it's now tied up.
And you get to cast another Bacage hard point. Let's go.
God.
Well, man, it's nice. We want to get to that game 4. Usually the most interesting map of recent times when we've cast any game. The game 4 has usually been the kind of like big interesting map. It's usually been a Desert Siege or something random, but it's nice to see Berlin Bocage back to back. So we get to see that kind of really 2 different worlds of strategy. Obviously, Berlin lends itself to teams with good rotational sense and the ability to kind of like time things and all about how many they commit to next hill and how, what kind of responsibility the player on old hill gets left with. And then obviously we go into Bocage, but it's just essentially for 8 people with miniguns just trying to cause as much blood on the map as possible.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to feel for Sam on this one, because I know how patient he is as an assault rifle player, and having just 3 MP40s, potentially 4, whizzing around you. It's very difficult as an assault rifle player to play Bocage well. We do see it sometimes, though, where some assault rifle players do actually do really well on Bocage, but it's the positional sense, I think, is the main thing. You pretty much need to have your back against the wall at most points in the game, otherwise you're just going to get shot from everywhere.
Yeah, usually you see it from the guys who will support the MP40 players like really well. So they won't be trying to peek awkward corners. They'll be behind an MP40 player making a break, or behind two MP40 players making a break, and they'll provide that cover and pick up any of the trades or any of the kills that they're not able to get, and it keeps them within like a safe distance. But I'll be honest with you, like I haven't run the MP40 over the last few days. Like it beams across the middle distance so well.
Yeah.
Like on barrage, is there a point in running an AR unless you're locking down trench? Like I even then I'd feel reasonably comfortable with an MP40 in trench, but who knows?
And it's like we've had so many like nerfs and GAs to that MP40, and it's still such a good gun. So it's
Yeah.
I know people say, "Oh, I'm a sub in an AR world," but Jesus, the MP40 on this COD is just God-worthy.
This is definitely an SMG world. This game is definitely SMG heavy. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like Black Ops 4, where they had the Maddox, and the Maddox was in an AR, but
Yeah.
it was basically a fancy SMG with a big snout. So we definitely live in an SMG world. And I think if they were relaxed some of the GAs on the STG, obviously that would give us that middle ground. The STG is not too bad over that middle distance. It's not just like that long distance that it does well at. So it'd be nice to see it back if they can just fix the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, so and just off on a tangent because Tom,
You like a
I
good
think it's
tangent,
Sirens
don't you?
redeemed a major C. So apologies, Pablo, you're going to have to listen to it. But yeah, this is the pain and the troublesome decisions that I decide to make and instantly regret. So yeah, big shout out to you guys for redeeming the channel points. So and I'll give it a couple of those as well. As we go in towards map number 3. But Bocage Hardpoint, Pablo, we saw part-timers. They looked really good on the Tuscan, so it wouldn't surprise me if they do very well in this one as well.
Let's be perfectly honest, Ollie and Stoves are just going to absolutely fry in this map. If they don't fry in this map, then it's classic Div 4 then, just in terms of consistency. So yeah, I expect to see, if Ollie doesn't drop a 40, then I expect you to give him some crap the next time you see him.
Oh, Ollie can drop 50. I'll always give him 6. So if he does well, I'll say he's got big red boxes on his screen, and if he doesn't, then I'll say he needs to do better. So it's lose-lose for him as far as he's concerned. But already right off the rip, a couple of kills going through, and Hayden with the prime sub. What a man. Thank you very much, brother. And JPS, or YJPS with the C as well. Thank you very much, guys. So we are now underway on the hard point, and P1, unsurprisingly, Pablo, a bit of a scrappy one, but there's already gunfights going over towards you, and your boy Ollie doing well, 3-1 right off the rip.
Yeah, it's such a weird one. Teams, like, way they approach P1 is so different. You see a lot of teams in Div 1 and then in challenges who will literally wait until they've got a team right before they set foot on the hill, and then you get teams like these guys who are just like kill on the hill, die, kill. It's just this almost like feeding the hill almost. But yeah, we'll play so far and reasonably even. But we saw this at the start of Tuscan, and it started to run away from the guys in Hollow White. So potentially, I think we're going to be seeing that billing, but it just depends what margin. I think part-timers, if they can play like they did in Tuscan, let's clarify that. But yeah, this could be anyone's though. We've seen this before. We've seen teams totally separate in ability get really close scores.
Yeah, so that is exactly how it's unfolding in the early stages. I'm struggling at the moment at 1 and 5, but the boys on part-timers only trailing by a little bit, but they've now got a position where, although they've got the spawns, they're going to have to try and take Snappy out of that less preferred position behind the tank, so they're going to have to try and coordinate some nades and a push to try and get him out of that position to contest. It's just going to be there, though, from Bookie, just playing it slow and smart, as Bolty is going to get taken down once more, and it looks as though Bookie's going to get chowed out, but it does a really good job of staying alive on that occasion, and they are getting kills around the hill now. The nades coming through for both teams, looking to try and clear out some respective players, and that all-important rotation over towards the next hill. But that was it was a P2, which was a bit messy, Pablo, but both teams kind of picking up a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, again, just a war of attrition over towards field. No one really getting control of it, and the game pretty much ends up tied. It is a 10-second difference. But as we go into grannies, both teams rotating about 10 seconds, so no real kind of like change difference in strategy from the players. This is really going to come down to who's probably got the better gun skill as opposed to any particular strategy. And that one with a big kill on Ollie, this is someone we expected to have an amazing game, and right now, just there, low numbers, pretty even across both teams. But Hollow White, we talked about it before as well, Major, that kill to time kind of efficiency, and Hollow White's doing a really good job so far.
Yeah, and it's definitely worthy of another one because YJPS has redeemed enough ones. Another C coming through on that one. But the boys of part-time is looking to try and fight their way through, but Brandon manages to mop up both Ollie and Stove. Looks as though Bookie going to try and work his way in. Sam trying to help him as well. There is going to be another player waiting around the corner, flies round. He's actually going to tag off his own teammate on that occasion. They're not going to grab the kill. Hollow White now with around a 40-point difference. Go over towards the Barn Hill. You can see already there's a couple of players. Wow, what a kill there from Brandon, though. Stove will be there to trade it, but it still looks as though part-timers, they've got the early rotation, but 2 players already going around the back.
Yeah, and number 5 there, Snappy's got a big job to do. It looks like they've already sniffed him out. It is going to be Sam who needs to get that, and he's got a big kill to do, and he gets dropped, unfortunately. So Snappy's going to have a pretty unfettered run towards the back of Barn. Ollie's going to need to watch out for this. He's going to take that top rope, but it's going to be a big kill. Ollie would expect to get that. It looks like it's going to be a nice trade coming in from the back, and a really nice play. They've managed to repel that first one quite well, so this is an all-important kill. Great stuff from Ollie there. Looks like he's waking up, and Bolty as well. Looks like he started to put some numbers on the board, because at the press before that, man, he was driving the struggle bus from Bocage to the next map for the boys in red.
Yeah, so he is going to fall on that occasion. So if the boys are part-timers, try and get a little bit of momentum going on. He was on a 5 there before he did drop, so I believe he should have a glide bomb to go with it, and he will. So he is going to have that to use as and when he decides to. Snappy going to manage to drop Bookie now out the back. They've still got Stove out here as well, as Sam is going to get an important kill out the back. And this is one where I suppose in terms of being an assault rifle player, this is a good opportunity to try and at least lock down a lane and lock down some positions, because at least you're not in the middle of the map where you can kind of get shot from everywhere. Yeah,
you would hope the Bolty will take up a pretty sedentary position somewhere around alleyway just so he can make use of the AR, but it's difficult. He picked up the MP4 to before and actually looked reasonably tidy with it, so I don't know whether he might be better off using the SMG in this map, but you would hope he'd be able to get into position. But again, it's just another good play by Hollow White, but the game kind of brought it back to within 20 seconds, so again, we know how changeable this particular hill can be if it's played correctly, but right now it is the boys in purple with the advantage and just playing really well. But that was a nice wipe. We do see Bookie as well playing quite well, so yeah, it's a weird one to call if they can just maintain control for this and then get the rotations in, which they're already doing. But number 8 just needs to be dealt with before that. It's dropped him. As soon as I say it, Major the chaos continues. Yeah. It gets dropped, and we're going to go back to this crazy P1, but it's still relatively close.
And Dapham and the boys, look at the battle that's already going on over towards that tin side. There's still players out the back. Ollie able to take down one. There is still going to be another one in towards Barn. Getting some shots in. Not going to quite connect with them on that occasion, but round and round the players go. Mally is going to get back on that P1. Looks as though Ollie still hunting for the kill out of that contest spot. And he will manage to grab it. Snappy is still looking for some more players himself as he's working his way around the back as the battle of the spawns still ensues between these two. And 25 seconds left on the hill, Pablo. We've barely seen any of it go towards either team, but I suppose that's pretty much a bread and butter standard P1 for Bocage.
Yeah, and it tells you a story as well that regardless of what level you're at, that P1 lends itself to remaining relatively unchallenged or just almost consistently challenged, so no one really takes any time. And we've seen that right the way from the top of the challenges level all the way down to Div 7. So P1 definitely, geographically speaking, is a really odd hill, but again, really good plays from particularly Snappy, who's having an absolutely awesome game. He's taken the game by the scruff of the neck really and taking control.
Yeah, and Freak now going to be called in by Ollie the Dead Tree. Apologies, Ollie. The chat asked me to do it. They redeemed challenge points. He's not a Dead Tree, but Stove now out the back. He's going to go. He's only going to be able to take down one as it will still be Bookie just staying down on the hill for the time being. And we've actually seen it quite a few times, Pablo, where people can actually try and spawn trap people out the back towards tin. Obviously, keep this man just down on the hill on that occasion. He is going to get taken down, but we've seen quite a few successful holds from the lower side of the trench.
Yeah, and obviously you want to try and force someone to spawn out tin around the 20-second mark just so that you can make that transition back over to grannies and make sure, dependent as well, because you say that, people have successful holds of grannies from the front and force the other team to kind of spawn out alleyway and maintain control. I guess it comes down to your confidence and capability in terms of just dropping players in these close quarter situations. Right now, though, mate, the 10-second lead has gone the way of the boys in red, and we're starting to see that scoreline we expected to see as we went into this. It does look like finally Ollie and Bookie in particular have woken up.
Looks as though the boys of Hollow White will still have those back spawns. Stove is still lurking though, so he might be able to try and make a play here. He's actually just going to opt to go through the front alongside Ollie, so they're going to try and work this right through the danger zone, and that is a full man wipe there for the boys of Hollow White. So although part-timers do have the lead, at least for now, it looks as though that lead is getting eaten away slowly by little bits. Bookie, is he going to play here? Trying to set the man up the hill. So it takes Dapham down. There is still another man lurking. Gets the second. Can Bookie get the third? Oh, not quite on that occasion. Mally is going to be there, and he's actually going to take down Stove as well. The trades, though, coming through in the form of Ollie. So with that scrap time, it looks as though Part-Time is going to have a little bit of a lead once again over towards the barn hill, and this is where the chaos ensues, Pablo. Because again, it's just going to be a battle for back spawns, a battle inside the hill constantly with the squad spawns as well. It's just a general messy one.
Yeah, this is probably the weirdest kill. You know, we talk about P1, but in terms of just how challenges go down, it's just the kill feed. It's just trade after trade after trade. Unless you've got an absolute star player who can take control of the area, it usually just stays like this. And I'd be surprised if the lead changes. If it goes back and forth, I'd be more surprised than I expect. The lead will probably stay very similar to this once they get pushed out and re-bullied again, I guess. And you can see that happening straight away as Snappy and Brandon make the way in, who have had absolutely awesome games so far as well. Snappy 1 off the 30, but you can see again, it's so difficult. If you don't get a wider control of this middle section, then it just becomes kind of like an odd trade. I don't know what you describe, a trade-off, a trade war almost. But yeah, Barn Hill, it can go F itself.
To put it politely. So the boys of Hollow White, they now have the lead. Part-Timers aren't going to be on that initial for the new hill. It looks as though Ollie has managed to spot Dapham out the back. So there's going to be a free kill as he manages to take him down. And there's still a couple of players lurking by him. It looks as though Brandon is actually going to try and make the play alongside his teammate Mally out the back. And they do manage to clear out that man in Ollie. So Balti able to grab one over towards the new hill. Bookie just keeping his head down. Needs some help, though, over the top of him. It's not going to come quick enough as Hollow White get back on the hill. And now around the corner flies Ollie, able to take down one. But again, boys of Hollow White at the moment, they just seem to be doing a good job of just locking down the lanes. It almost feels as if Part-Timers are... They have an early rotation, but they just tend to gift them. Hollow White seem very efficient at the moment at breaking hills.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've noticed as well is no one's really got any glide bombs, so there's not been able to string any streaks together, and that's just allowed the teams to kind of use more strategy than use armament to try and control the kill. And right now, the boys in purple are just doing a very, very good job of it, and they've just brought the game most evens, and Brandon again going off. He's about to drop a 30 himself. So it's been a really impressive performance across the board. You only have to look at the scores from the boys in Hollow White to see just how well they've played. But, you know, hats off to Part-Timers because they have been reasonably efficient in getting time. You just feel that if Sam was just that little bit more accurate at times, that this would be a completely different scoreline.
Yeah, they're still holding on to this one, Part-Timers. Sam, the man in the back in Mally, I think it's been called out, so he's just checking his corners. Mally is literally not moving. He knows that if he just plays this carefully, he manages to help the boys spawn up on him, and they do exactly that. They get the kills. Ollie, though, still lurking out the back. He is being chased, though, by Mally, so the trade will be there. But meanwhile, Part-Time is still holding a decent amount of time on the P1 here. So Hollow White, they've got to be careful about how much time they give them. Balti able to take down one. The trades, though, going to come through once more from Hollow White. And again, it looks as though it's going to be Part-Timers fighting their way through in towards next particular part of the map. Whether or not they can try and break through, though, we'll have to see. The Dapham takes down one off the Stove. Nice shots coming through. Mally is out the back as well. So a couple of players, Ollie, Sam, working their way around the back. Brandon is going to be the man soaking up the objective time, but now can this be the push? Dapham, though, again, the trades every single time, Pablo. It feels like Part-Timers, they get a kill, and Hollow White are just always there to make the trade.
Yeah, they had the luxury of being set up quite nicely, and obviously they've got number 8 out there, Mally, doing an absolutely amazing job just holding Tim. He's already seen up 2 or 3 players, and obviously they get that information earlier. They know where the players can only come from. It's either going to come from around Granny's or around the flank, and they just did a great job of controlling that, and that's exactly what you're seeing right now. And Mally in particular, who just had an awesome kind of 20 seconds, and that's allowed them just to get this chunk of time. But you say that after all that work they've done, you know, the boys from the Part-Timers able to still get a foot on the kill. So right now it's become that kind of war through Barn and towards back tin, and but still the advantage is with the boys in purple, and you could see them take this lead in a series that we fully expected. You know, someone like the Part-Timers with Ollie and Stoves playing so well to do well, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
And another kill for Dapham. Second one that he probably shouldn't. So now Hollow White 20 points away from taking this one, and the timer at the moment is getting away from both teams here. 27 seconds now, and it will be Bookie on the initial time. At the moment, really, the boys of Hollow White really should be starting to run away with this game at the moment as Dapham manages to grab another kill, but the boys of Part-Timers not letting go just yet. Ollie in the hill. He's got to be careful, though, to stop the timer. He will get back on it meanwhile. And now Hollow White, can they make the break that they need? Ollie, no. Brandon manages to grab 1 kill. There's still a couple of players in and around him. Some on his team, some not. Stove, one of them on the other team, manages to grab the first kill. But now they need to get on the hill. There's only 10 seconds remaining, though. Can Stove make the play? Takes down 1. There's still another man in the back, and he's going to spot him now as Dapham is going to fall as well. So Stove, 2 really big kills coming through from him. They can't win off the hill, part-timers, but they need every single second of this one pretty much to bring it back to even. But look at the rotation pad. Bookie's there. He's ready to go. It's just a case of whether or not they can stay alive long enough in order to get this one over towards the new hill, and it looks as though they will.
Yeah, and this is obviously a really difficult hill to hold. We've just, we've talked about just how the fight goes down. It tends to be trades back and forth. So this is a big moment for both teams, really. But obviously, with only 3 seconds remaining, it does look like Hollow White are going to take the lead and go 2-1 in a game that was open to anyone to win. You really can't be too mean to any player in that out of the 8, because they all kind of played really, really well towards the end. So another awesome series, and it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen as we head into Berlin, which is a much more strategic hard point.
Yeah, so the boys of Hollow White,
snappy
round, they put it on its head. We're now a case of 2-1 to Hollow White, and as you mentioned, Pabs, they're coming away now from a hard point loss, a hard point win. So now going into this win, obviously Bocage, we know it's quite a messy one, but that's going to be reassuring for the boys of Hollow White, because they've managed to take a respawn. If it was a case of part-timers 1 second hard point, you might be thinking, oh, hang on a minute, we're now going into another hard point. But the fact that they've managed to pinch that one on Bocage, as you mentioned, very close map between the two, could have gone pretty much either way. But they're now 2-1 up in the series, and now in the driving seat.
Momentum is entirely with the Major. Just a great performance. Snappy dropping a 45. 5 off the 50 is an immense performance. I know Bocage lends itself to big numbers, but if you look at that Tuscan, I don't think he was even close to that. And obviously we expected more from the boys like Ollie, Stoves and Bucky in particular. They did do well, but I just couldn't convert. A lot of those kills were just kind of those transitional kills we talk about, where they aren't necessarily effective in terms of time, and especially on a map where your spawns, the geography means that they're quite close to the hill. So yeah, this could be anyone's though. Berlin again, man. It's just another moment where, you would expect maybe the Tuscan hardpoint, geography being slightly larger than Bocage, lends itself to the part-timers. But I mean, who really knows now, because they both won a hardpoint, and obviously the S&D, the only thing that separates them.
Yeah, and this is the one that we talk about, kind of those AR players need to kind of come into their own, especially on a Berlin, or if we have a Desert Siege, for example. Obviously, we don't have that one in this one. Our final map is actually a Bocage, so good luck to the ARs on that one. But yeah, we've got a map now where, like Sam, he's struggled so far in the series, but now this is a good opportunity just for him to be able to slow it down and play kind of at a pace that that I know anyway, that he's more comfortable with, just playing it careful, playing for spawns. Coming off the back of a madness of a Bocage, and so this is something where you kind of expect those AR players to really start to make a mark now on the series.
Yeah, and we saw it, I think it was in the S&D where we saw Snapsy beam someone across the map. I've seen it, literally we saw it in the Berlin the other day, where we were seeing these really kind of like long AR shots that were just so accurate. So hopefully Sam can bring this to those 4 and just play a lot better than he has done in the last few games. He hasn't done terrible, to be fair to him. It's just Bocage is a difficult map if you are a stiff at AR. So yeah, heading into Berlin, I would expect him to do a little bit better. He's got a little bit more opportunity to just use that distance and be that little bit more cautious. He doesn't need to be in the hill. He can be out the back just watching for flanks and passing information as well. Just hope he doesn't get sniped in the process.
Yeah, that's always the case, isn't it? It's just fingers crossed you don't get a bullet wrapped through your head out of a sniper. So and YJBS saying I'm owed 3 Cs. Don't worry, mate, I did see it. But obviously, mid-game, I can't spam it 10 times out of 10. There you go. There's the 3 Cs as we go in towards our map number 4. So Berlin now going to be the scene. 2 teams. How this one unfolds, and yeah, the boys have obviously part-timers there. They Ollie and Stove had a quiet map by their standards. So again, they're probably going to be 2 players that part-timers will be looking to put up some big numbers, because Hollow White, they've managed to come out firing after that map, Pabs, and they look as though they've got quite a bit of slaying power themselves.
Yeah, I was honestly, the first map probably just not the best indicator of their quality, and we see this all the time. We see teams that are just slow out the blocks. We know them. A few teams that always get kind of beat map 1 and then come back. So maybe this is just one of those sides. And because Snaps had an absolutely awesome game before Mali, he didn't put up the same amount of numbers, but the kills he got were important and really intelligent. So definitely the first map, no indicator to quality. And going forward, we'll know Hollow White are a team that are a slow burner and they start pretty off the pace. But again, you really do need to look to consistency from part-timers, and you've got to look to that man Ollie to put the numbers up, and you've got to hope that Sam has a reasonably good game just as that kind of foundation.
And Malik just managing to clean up Stove there, going around the back. It looks as though Schnappy might get a free pick onto Ollie actually as well, at the back of Warehouse, and a nice couple of kills coming through from Schnappy once more. As his boys do now have that initial rotation. Part-time is going to have to try and work their way in towards the hill, but he's going to get shot from the side. Stove is still nearby, and he might be able to make a quick pinch here. Manages to take down one. Still got Brandon inside the hill. Stove just opts to go straight down the throat of him, which is something that he's never shy of doing. It won't come off on that occasion, but it looks as though at the moment, at least in the early stages of this rotation, Holloway, they've done a good job of locking this one down.
Yeah, they've taken a really good chunk of time, and they've repelled a number of attacks, so really good play by them. But again, it's quite worrying if you are a fan of part-timers or a player, that they've just been able to readily just repel every kind of attack, and that obviously very much apparent in Bacage right now. It's a small lead, it's a slender one, but it's an important one if you're a part-timer, because they're just not putting the numbers up. Bolty's on 2 and 3, which is good, and it does look like, majorly, you're probably right, he is more comfortable just in that more cautious role, but you know, he needs to be able to back up those players when they are in the hill. So this is a big moment, and it's steadily becoming good time for the part-timers, but they just need to hold on to this.
Yeah, from playing with Sam previously, I know if you just say, Sam, right, sit on that heady and watch this direction, that's where he's better. He's rather than just saying, right, go aggressive, go flying in, because sometimes he can run about and be like, where am I going, where am I going? But he's obviously locked out that back spawn, and it looks as though part-timers now are in a good position to hold a good chunk of this time here. So going to manage to spot one in the fire. Brandon will come out the better on that occasion. Bookie, though, coming on quite a quick pinch here, and he's going to grab the second as well. Schnappy is going to be there for the trade. They've still got Sam out the back alongside Stove, so the spawns are still coming in through. Sam manages to get some bullets into Brandon. He's so incredibly weak. Surely the stun is going to get the job done. No, maybe not, but Ollie's will. As we now see the lead change. It's been a good hold from part-timers on that one, Pabs. They pretty much did all the fundamentals that they needed to, but now they've got the difficulty of, right, okay, we don't have the spawns, and now we've got to break into the next one.
Yeah, I think it took the 4 of them to be able to hold that, and that's probably the problem. They're not able to just commit so many bodies to the next hill, so each time they're going to have to break, and this is a much more difficult hill to break because obviously they've got players that are already set up. It does look like the boys from Paolo White are kind of slow to a proper setup, though, so this could play to their advantage if they're able to just, you know, basically coil in and just wrap in a kind of break tighter and tighter and just get the picks, and it does look like they're doing it, mate, so this could be an awesome moment for the team in red.
Yeah, Bookie,
oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Big kill, big break, and that is going to be part-timers in the hill. Bookie, got to be careful trying to keep his down. Might potentially force that when he might not have really needed to. So Bolty out the back, where he loves to be, locking down those spawns once more. He's still going to just be keeping an eye over those players transitioning over. The teammates still spawning relatively close as well, but Schnappy is now on the hill. Sam looks to try and get some more shots in. He will just back down for the time being as well, as Ollie is just playing this corner spot that we tend to see some players use. It's probably one of the very few spots on this hill where you're even remotely safe, but Brandon around the back manages to take down one. He's still hunting for more. Sam is still located around the corner, and he does get the kill onto him as well. So Hollow White, although part-time has had those early rotations and that early break, it looks as though they've done a good job, at least by not allowing too much time going in favour of part-timers.
I don't know. I think they got on with about maybe 6 or 7 seconds left, and then but they were able to just do the smart play and wrap around the other side. So number 2, Ollie's got a big job now. He needs to win this gunfight or 2 gunfights now in order to ensure that they get them spawns. He's not going to do it, and this is a problem for the part-timers. As if they're not able to hold this middle ground, they're going to need to try and push to try and get the rotations for this second rotation that's about to come up.
Yeah. So now 50 points there or thereabouts with potential remaining scrap time here for part-timers, so it's been a really good hold on this hill. It's one that we've flagged that was being incredibly scrappy, incredibly messy, but they've done a good job on this one. Sam just hunting for potential kills. He will manage to spot Brandon dropping down and repositioning. They've got to be careful though, because he's hitting what could be a quick flank from Sam. Okay, thank God he got that one, because I would have been like, have a day off, mate. You need to be getting those. But now Bolty will get taken down as we go over towards the new hill, and it's going to be Hollow White in the early rotation, but now this is going to be a case of how efficiently they can break it. It looks as though pretty much everyone on the side of part-timers is all on the same page. Last man in the hill is going to be Brandon. He's actually going to be forced to back out, and it looks as though part-timers have held this pretty perfectly, at least in the early stages, but Brandon now got 5 in a row, and he's got that all-important glide bomb.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get tagged up. He has managed to get inside. One thing I would suggest is someone needs to have a word with Sam maybe about his sensitivity, because did look very all over the show there, so might be better just to lower it down if you're going to be an AR, and just might help him just there be able to be a bit more accurate and just tighten his focus a little bit more. Stove with another big kill, but 143 to 100 is a good position for the part-timers right now, and all the players seem to be firing on all cylinders. Bolty with another big kill, so definitely enjoying the larger geography of Berlin, and really just playing really well, and that's going to be another big kill for the boys in purple. But again, part-timers are just leaving very small amounts of scrap time to the boys from Hollow White, and even though we see the kill feed kind of go their way, right now it's still, I would still suggest it's advantage to the boys in red.
So Ollie, trying to keep his head down. Snappy should be able to grab that one. Make him really, really one-shot there. That was almost a violation there from Ollie if he managed to win that one. So Hollow White trailing by 40. There or thereabouts. Stove still lurking nearby the hill though, and he's going to run straight in towards one player. And the aggression once more from Stove. It's going to pay off on that occasion, but the trade is going to be there. Nobody currently on the side of part-timers, too close to the hill. Now the reinforcements are arriving. Ollie, his teammate in Bookie, going to be flying in. There's still a couple of players lurking in and around the hill from the boys of Hollow White at the moment. They need to try and play the trade sufficiently here. Bolty able to pick off one Bookie. Grabs one as well. And Ollie with a double grab with the pistol. Really nice work there from him. And that scrap time is going to be really important now for part-timers because they're starting to get a decent lead here. And they've got the rotation once again, Pablo. And Sam, there he is, back on his head.
Yes,
where he loves
let's
it.
go. I was just going to say, look who's back there. Number 4, Sam Bolty, is at the back, ready to keep things tight. He manages to play his life. And it looks like it's going to be a solid performance in this Berlin. It's just unfortunate that potentially they're going to go into, you know, an S&D on Bocage, which might not play to their strengths. You would hope potentially to see Sam maybe mix it up a bit, maybe drop an MP40. But again, the caution that you can get in Bocage might lend into an AR. But right now, boys doing really well. And in particular, we've got Ollie on 14-14. We did want to say he needs to pick things up. And right now, I guess he's just getting to that point. But Matey's got a solid 133, so you can't really complain about him not doing his work. And Stove's 22 and 21. So no one really going off. No one really having an absolutely blinded. Brandon maybe on the other side, 26 and 15. But again, a lot of those kills were probably in transition because they haven't really turned them into time. And we're at that point we talk about all the time where, you know, they only need, 10, 15 seconds off the next few kills to win.
Yeah, so Brandon at the moment currently leading the line for Hollow White, and they will have this early rotation again, so it'll be interesting to see if they can hold the initial push a lot better than they did last time. Snappy is just going to be watching that right lane. Bookie going to get caught out and tagged up a little bit. There are still 2 players though, as Ollie is going to invest a streak into this one. So he had a bit of a quiet start now, but the glide bomb is ready to use, and he's going to land it right in the back pocket of Mally. Not really much you can do about that one. And now Stove using this as a green light to get some control on the hill. It's just Snappy out the back. And again, Pablo, it looks as though for at least the early stages here, they've got the early spawns. Oh, and Stove shouldn't be winning that one, but he did. And yeah, part-timers, another clean break of this hill as we saw in the first rotation.
Yeah, and you're right on the player now, Daphne, who could cause some problems in this game. You know, they've got some time on this. It's not quite the 30 seconds. I think they got about 20 seconds off that hill, no less, maybe 10. And again, a nice tidy break, and just no one watching the flank, and whether the players just aren't happy to just share that kind of responsibility is another thing. But a nice break from the boys in purple, and, you know, they're going to be able to get the rest of this scrap time, or a large chunk of it. It does look like they've finally been bullied off the hill, so good play between Stoves and Bolty. And, you know, you consider the series that Sam's had, and he's 16 and 16 with 4 seconds, and all those kills, I would suggest, have been reasonably vital in terms of, you know, holding down lanes, watching flanks. So a good play so far. What you don't want, though, is you do not want Hollow White to be getting a chunk of time in the middle that maybe no other team would get normally. So big moment right now if you are a part-time fan.
Yeah, and this is the perfect demonstration of what a Berlin is really for a lot of teams. Just playing those smart kills, playing the rotations, and just getting the time really. You don't have to blow teams out of the water. You can see the performance that Brandon's having. Obviously, he needs a little bit more from Snappy and Daphne potentially, but the lead now the part-timers have got, currently standing at 80 seconds, is just showing with every single player really pulling their own weight in terms of kills and objective time. Obviously, Bookie and Ollie chosen to, but a really nice bit of work to take down pretty much everyone on the side of Hollow White, and this is looking as though we are going to a game 5 here unless Hollow White can really pull their finger out. Number 2, Ollie, lone man up in the top of 3rd, will manage to grab 1 kill off the top rope, looking for more, gets the 2nd as well, and can he get the pistol whip? Oh, not quite on that occasion, but we rotate once again over towards the new hill. Hollow White will have the initial time, but part-timers with 241 points, Pablo, it's looking pretty inevitable now.
Yeah, we've said this before. They just need to get one break and this game's over. So this is a big moment. It's just whether they're complacent or not. You know, another 60 seconds and the psychology changes completely, because then it's 240 to 220 and any team can win off any hill, and it becomes, you know, a different psychological game, and fingers start to get a bit shaky and hands start to get a bit sweaty, and you just don't know how the game's going to end. So really important now that the part-timers are able to get this break if we want to see a game 5. And two players falling snappy, just starting to heat up, mate.
I'll tell you what, Hollow White, they haven't put a foot wrong so far in this P1. They've managed to read every single time part-timers have tried to rotate around the back. They're not going to be able to get any single seconds at the moment, as Brandon's now on another streak, 35 and 20, 5 in a row for him. And that glide bomb is going to be all important now as we go over towards the new hill. And they get the initial kills as well. They're going to opt to invest the glide bomb straight away. So they might get the initial transitional kills here with the boys of Hollow White. They're still cleaning out every single player. And look at that combined streak, Pablo. I believe, what was it on? I think it was on 13, 14. They are now getting kills, part-timers, but they are really making a meal out of this one. But, oh, okay, never mind. They are grabbing the kills, and it looks as though with the help of that initial push, they should manage to get this map done. But they brought it really close to the wire, at least for the time being, and they're still surviving.
Yeah, they're still going, and this is rather a worry because 38 seconds left. They do need to get this, and Snappy has just gone off in this game. And if they are going to take this, if Hollow White take this game, they've got to really lay that down to Brandon. And although Snappy is on a deficit 109, he's got some massively important kills. And right now, part-timers cannot get onto the kill for money. And this could be, you know, they could lose it here. This is going to, they need a massive break. Who can be the hero of the day? No Major, can Sam be the hero of the day with only 4 seconds remaining?
They need to touch the hill. Nobody's even going to be near the hill. They're going to grab the kill, but they are going to somehow pull that one out of the bag. Hollow White down such a large margin. We're going to get an instant quit from that one because, oh my goodness, Pablo, they really should not have let that one go. They had such a good position to see that one out and push it to the game 5, but Hollow White, they stuck their feet in, they dug deep, and they managed to get it done.
I don't think I've seen a team on 249, 248 or whatever part-timers were on for so long. They boys from Hollow White brought that back from 160. I think it was 240 to 160 at one point, or 168. And they've just absolutely nailed 2 hills back to back. And it tells you the importance of, like, if you can string that, they were able to not just do that. They defended it really well, but then they committed 2 players to that next hill in Whale Room. And they were able to defend the old one with just 2 players. So really good play. And Snappy and Brandon just coming to life at the right time. It's just has got them through this game. 3-1. Mate, we did not see that coming.
That was a bit of a painful one there for the boys. Part-timers. That is going to be our 3rd and final game for the evening, guys. So a big shout out to all the teams this evening and everyone who has dropped by the chat on both streams after restarting it for the short break between games 2 and 3. Do appreciate every single one of you dropping by, and Root UK with the follow as well most recently. Thank you very much, buddy. So yeah, that will be it from us this evening. So a big GG's to all the teams that took part. A big thanks to all of you guys who have tuned in. I will quickly see if there is any raid. I think Jacko, actually, Mr. Moosh. Mr. Moosh is playing. I'll give him a raid. Somebody who I don't think I've raided before. So I'll go him. Moosh. This is the thing with some names. Sometimes it's zeros, sometimes it's O's. No, zeros. He makes it easy for me. So yeah, that will be it from myself and Mr. Pablo. Mr. Pablo, thank you very much once again for joining me on the microphone for the 3rd and final one.
Mate, I felt bad. You said you had 3 casts, and I was like, I've got so much to do, and I was just like, can't let the Major just have. Look, his voice is gone. He's on 2 Bacages again in this map. I was like, no, man, that can't happen. But yeah, thank you for having me on board again. And Sunday evening, we're into the new year, man, 2022, with a lot to offer potentially. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna just get things going and wind things up, and we'll be flying. But yeah, nice game to cast, and thank you for having me aboard.
Oh, pleasure as always, mate. Pleasure as always. So big thanks once again to all of you guys. We will be transitioning over to Moosh's channel, so a big shout out to every single one of you. And we will be back very shortly with some more games, and we'll end with them for all of you guys. So a big shout out, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks once again, guys. See you then.